Alright, ladies and gents, iCCup Fitz back here for yet another Brood War cast here. And this is going to be iCCup Clan League between Salvation Army and uPro multi-gaming team. So spawning in the top left-hand corner for our uPro team, it will be none other than Sajr0 with a instead of a O, it's actually a 0. And in the bottom right-hand corner as our orange Protoss, it'll be none other than Salvation Army's CheeTech, which may incline for us to believe that he's going to be using some cheesy tactics. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But we'll see. And with that, it will be cross positions on Fighting Spirit. Nothing too crazy with that, I don't think. And yeah, that's where we're at today. And for everyone that doesn't know about iCCup Clan League, it's kind of iCCup's hidden gem. I feel like sometimes there isn't as much coverage for it. There's not a lot of talk about it in the community. Maybe it's just because people just don't talk about it or whatever. But the important factor to note is that it is there, and it's a bustling clan league with I believe like 20-something clans in it. In the past couple past months, it's had its issues with lack of admins being able to fully run clan league, and just teams getting a ton of walkovers, which kind of makes for a kind of a boring a 9-week clan league, because then it's like, well, then one of 9 matches doesn't happen for the team. It's just not that great. But we'll see how this does progress as it goes on. I don't know how many clan leagues I will be casting, just because of the time it requires to go to it. Kind of stumbling upon my words right here, to the length of which it takes to cast an entire clan league. It is 5 best of 3s, 4 which are 1v1s, and 1 that's a 2x2. So it's a little bit different, and whoever wins all, the set of those best 5 will, win the clan league and get points rewarded them. Each best of 3 you win, you get 1 point awarded to you. That goes onto your season record. And the person that wins the clan league will get an extra point just to, influence whoever wins better. Now, we do have a standard Forge Fast Expand coming up here. He did do a Forge Nexus cannon build, so getting a little greedy right here, but did see that it was a 12 pool. It was a 12 hatch into a pool, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was an 11 hatch. Excuse me, actually, it was an 11 hatch. And 10 pool to follow that up with, and then just throw down its 3rd. So nothing too ridiculous right here. Did get that down a little bit. Did cut off a drone while doing that, but nothing too crazy. So things are going up to a pretty standard PvZ on Fighting Spirit as well. And these two are this is from Division A. And if you guys have been following this channel, when I did a really bad casting job of Season 20, I did a ton of casting for Season 20, because it was really the only thing I did cast, just to get myself more familiar with the game. And if you want to see some really horrific casts, go reference those. But it's a good time. It's a good time. So if you've watched those, you know how Clan League operates up to this time. And Division A is the highest of the 3 divisions that we have at iCCup, so hopefully we get some good best of 3s in here. I'm not sure if I'm going to do all B1 and B2 as they are lower level, and it's not like I don't want to cast them. It's just like literally to cast all the finals of the tournaments and to cast 5 best of 3s, which is, I don't know, it just takes a long time. I mean, you can have a maximum up to 15 games or a minimum of 10. So, I mean, a lot of time in Clan League, it doesn't really go to the ace match, but if it does, that's 15 games that I have to cast, and I mean, I would say probably the shortest game you're probably going to find on average would probably be around 10-15 minutes per game. And it also, you have to put in consideration that if you're coming from StarCraft 2, I'm just gonna turn this down a little bit. I feel like it's getting way too loud. Let's see. That feels You know, StarCraft 2 time, you know, if you have a 15-minute game, it probably end up actually being only 13, 12 minutes long, just because of the way the timer works out in StarCraft 2. You have Blizzard minutes. This is actually legitimate minutes on fastest. So what you're seeing in the bottom left-hand corner of the overlay is actual, like, 5 minutes from the game has started. So we'll see. But anyway, getting into this game, things are looking pretty standard. We did see Zerg actually opt to go for more of a closer third here. And that is peculiar to me, because generally Zerg will take off a far-off third base from either here or here, because what this will allow is for the follow-up to a fourth base that you can easily secure as long as you can do a proper SimCity on these wall-offs. So it's going to be opt to go for that, and I did go for the Hydra Den fairly quickly, actually. So he may be wanting to apply some pressure here, quote-unquote Hydra bust, if you will. Unfortunately, it is cross position, so we'll see how that will end up, because he's going to be rallying across the map. And another benefit of keeping that base on the natural expansions of either the top right or top left hand bases is that it allows for faster rallying from that base, as it's pretty much, you know, it's coming out of the natural of here, so the rallying to your opponent's base is going to be much, much quicker than, say, cross position. Of course, or if you're not on Python, of course. But we'll be getting both group spines and Hydra speed up, so... And it looks like he might be starting to apply some pressure right here. Now, Protoss should see that there are a lot of units coming out of the Zerg right now. Isn't droning up too heavily right now, so he's going to be trying to probably prepare for that. It did decide to go for Reaver, actually. A very interesting response to this. Now, what this will allow is, you know, obviously defensive position. Oh, no, he's going to go Corsair Reaver, excuse me. So he's going to be going Corsair Reaver. Now, this build is actually very entertaining to watch. And if used properly, it's absolutely devastating to the Zerg. So we'll definitely see how this goes on. Generally, how Corsair Reaver will go is you snipe off all the Overlords to supply block your opponent, and then you go in with the Reavers to do massive critical damage to the mineral line. And also, once you start getting up to like 4 or 5 Reavers, it sometimes just gets so ridiculous of how much DPS Reavers will start to do. And we will have some Corsair harass going on at the natural expansion. Just kind of flying over here. We'll verify that it will be the Hydra Den, and also to acknowledge we don't have a lair coming up either, which is gonna kind of. This is actually a very nice response to this. What the build order that, Sajr0 is actually doing, because you get the Spire up to get the Scourge out to kill off the Corsair, but now he's gonna have to spend drones onto Spore Colonies. And here we go. Here comes the really, really strong push right here. Will there be a Reaver to defend? Yes, there is. Is there another one coming out? It looks like it probably should pop maybe by the time this battle begins. No, he's just got to start going for it. There are 5 cannons coming in here. Will this do enough damage that it needs to get done, or will it just utterly fail? Here it comes. And the Reaver is going to be in the back doing as much damage as possible. Hydras are trying to figure out a sweet spot, but Cantor in such a good position. And it looks like he will be pushed back for the time being. And at the main base right here, continued Corsair harass. And as you can tell on the overlay, CheeTech is actually on, is supply blocked quite heavily. And I'm sorry, I mixed up these players once before. Sajr0, no, because now Sajr0 is actually supply blocked. 43 over 37. And the Hydras will be forced to come back right here. So he has defended this very well. Very nice build order response to this very nice counter. And it looks like he's just going to get up his gateway count and maybe go for a counter push, as I don't think he's going to be following up with any kind of expansion of his own, as he's putting up his own gateway count. And yeah, he's still, yeah, I mean, this is actually, I mean, yeah, he could actually potentially go for the kill right now. As Zerg, you know, looking up these bases, I mean, he does have 3 bases, don't keep in mind. However, also, you know, that he's just getting up his lair, and this is gonna hurt a lot if we have a strong, like, timing push of 4 gateways, a decent amount of Corsair, and 3 Reavers. My God, is that gonna hurt? No, 6 gateways, or no, that's 7 gates. Okay. Yeah, he's just gonna be building up for a kill move right now. And possibly all in, if you want to call it like this, because I mean he's really, really going strong. If Zerg will hold this off, Zerg should be in a really, really nice position right here. But we just see massive Hydra production. No, not really that many drones right now. Yeah, he's making... Oh, and he's going to get Overlord speed now as well, which is heavily delayed as well. And, oh no, look at this. Protoss is making me very, very, very... I can't figure out what Protoss is doing. It's like, well... Oh, you know what? He might be taking the expansion behind this aggression. And Zerg's going to be checking for this bottom left-hand base, but unfortunately, Protoss did take his closer third at the 6. And Protoss will be pushing out here with this mainly Zealot Reaver. And Hydra's just going to be coming here. This base will get denied unless Protoss can react fast enough, and I don't think he will. This base will have to get canceled for sure. Hydra's do a ton of DPS super quickly, and yep, I don't think we got to cancel. But anyway, Hydra's got... except the Zealots are going to try to come up this ramp with Hydras, but the 3 Reavers, and you'll just see how quickly these Reavers will die because of the Reavers. We'll lose 1 Reaver, though, with the 4 control right there, but ultimately we'll keep 2 of them alive, taking a lot of heavy fire from there. But we're starting to have... I mean, this is a ton of gateways. This might be too many for 2 bases, but that's a lot of Archon. I think he just made like a ton of High Templar. Reaver, Archon Zealot, actually. Okay, no, this is a strong comp. A very strong comp, actually, against Hydra as well. Actually, this is actually very interesting because I don't generally see this kind of response from Protoss off of 2 base, generally. But anyway, the Reaver's in a lot of trouble. Ooh, not keeping it in the back, but he will have 3 Archons and 6 Zealots or whatever going into this. Well, that's a lot of Hydras. Very interesting. And we do have a followed up expansion coming up with this. And I feel like this might have been a mistake to do this, as he's been building up so powerful off this 2 base pressure. I feel like taking expansion so soon was which did delay the powerfulness of this push right here, and which may have costed them the game right here. Archon Zealot trying to come in here, but Hydras are kind of just wrecking this apart. Nice Hydra control right here, but more Protoss is coming in here. 5 High Templars are coming out right here. This might just be enough to push back the Zerg right now with the addition of 5 High Templars, enough for Storm each. And I don't know if we have Size Storm researched yet, but if it is, it should be done momentarily as we're at the 12-minute mark, and this really should where it should be done. Starting up, desperately trying to get up Hive Tech right now, but I don't think it's going to matter. This game has been so back and forth, actually, to be honest. It's kind of hard to tell who's winning, but he's going to be coming in here. Will the High Templars have enough for Storm right here? This might be a mistake going in before the High Templar are ready to start storming. All right, the High Templar are right behind here. Let's see if the storms are going to be good. Nice storm, nice storm. Oh my goodness, such good storm. Zelda coming in here, but such low HP as well. Will these Archon do enough? Oh, the storm is so powerful, but on top of the Archon as well, Archons have like 0 HP left over. And who's we going to be trying to follow this up with right here? Who's going to win this battle of epic proportion? It looks like Protoss might be able to break through the natural just barely at the skin of his teeth, as 2 more Archons are forming right now. And unfortunately, this is where Zerg, Zerg did just leave. So GG from Team uPro, giving Salvation Army the first win in this series, guys. Pretty awesome stuff happening right there. And again, I'm a little rusty from pretty much for all matchups. I'm sorry I didn't really get a whole lot of these unit compositions right. As I'm assuming that Zealot Archon's actually good for Mass Ling, as it would make sense, but it also might be good against Hydras. But anyway, it definitely looked like Protoss knew what he was doing in this match, and ultimately did win. Very entertaining, high aggression, ZVP, the way we like to do it at iCCup, like to cast it at iCCup. StarCraft TV, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll be back for game number 2 momentarily. Peace.